Welcome to Harnessing Demographic Intelligence for Inclusive Innovation. Question: what opportunities are you missing by not fully leveraging the diversity within your workforce to drive innovation? Now, we know the future of talent is changing. Are you ready? There's a myth out there, the idea that diversity waters down excellence. Some believe that bringing in diverse perspectives leads to compromise instead of quality. During this lesson, we're going to debunk that myth. So I would encourage you to keep an open mind. And let's think about this as it relates to our mission. Few things. Diversity doesn't dilute success. It fuels it. It broadens your talent pool in a labor market where talent is becoming harder to find. It also deepens problem-solving capabilities by introducing new perspectives. And you know what? It creates resilience as industries face rapid demographic and economic shifts. Here is the reality that I want you to think about, because we're going to talk facts here. The labor market is tightening with declining birth rates, fewer younger workers, and an aging workforce. The ability of traditional talent pools is shrinking. Also, our academic pipeline is unstable. Many universities are closing or downsizing. That means fewer graduates with the skills employers need. Also, we have to consider that younger generations have different priorities. They value work-life balance, purpose-driven careers, and flexibility over traditional job security. American labor participation is shifting. Immigration policies, global workforce competition, and automation are shaping how we acquire and retain talent. Let me say that again. American labor participation is shifting. Immigration policies, global workforce competition, and automation are reshaping how we acquire and retain talent. So what does this mean for leaders? It means that you can't afford to rely on old hiring and retention strategies. The companies that will thrive in the next decade will be those that actively seek new opportunities to acquire, develop, and retain top talent. And you're going to have to do some research, because our landscape, in particular our political landscape, is changing so fast. So you have to stay on your toes. Now, one of the best ways to do this is harnessing demographic intelligence. Let's look at 3 real-world examples. Google's Project Aristotle, NASA's Apollo program, and Bell Labs. Each one proves that when you embrace diverse perspectives and build inclusive, multidisciplinary teams, you don't just create an inclusive culture, you create an unstoppable one. Google wanted to crack the code on what makes some teams succeed while others fail. So they launched Project Aristotle, one of the most extensive research projects on teamwork ever conducted. Their conclusion: the best teams weren't the ones with the smartest people. They were the ones with psychological safety. People felt safe taking risks and speaking up. Dependability. Team members could count on each other to get things done. Structure and clarity. Everyone understood their role, and that's very important. Meaning, people believed that their work mattered. And finally, impact. They saw how their contributions actually made a difference. But here's the most important takeaway. Diverse teams thrive the most when these conditions were met. Why? Because diversity brings more perspectives to complex problems, a wider range of ideas that reduce blind spots. Diverse teams have stronger adaptability in an unpredictable world. This is why leaders today must rethink how they structure their teams. You don't just need people with the right credentials, that's important, but you also need people with different ways of thinking. Now let's talk about NASA's Apollo program. The 1969 moon landing, if you believe it actually happened, was one of the greatest human achievements in history. But it didn't happen because of one brilliant person or a single type of expert. It happened because NASA brought together one of the most diverse, multidisciplinary teams ever assembled. Engineers worked with physicists. Mathematicians collaborated with test pilots. Hidden figures like Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughan, and Mary Jackson, African American women mathematicians, provided critical calculations for space travel. These women weren't just diversity hires. They were some of the best minds in the world, but they had to fight to have their talents recognized. Here's the lesson for today's leaders. If you are overlooking talent because it doesn't fit a narrow definition of who belongs in your industry, you are limiting your own potential. In a labor market where talent is scarce, you can't afford to be exclusive. You need to identify, recruit, and elevate talent wherever it exists. Now let's look at Bell Labs. Bell Labs is responsible for some of the greatest technological breakthroughs of the last century, including the transistor, which made modern computers possible, the laser, used in everything from medicine to telecommunications, the foundations of digital communication and AI. So how did they do it? By breaking down silos and fostering collaboration across disciplines. Again, physicists worked with engineers. Mathematicians collaborated with chemists. Electrical engineers brainstormed with data theorists. They didn't just put diverse people in the same room. They built a system where collaboration led to breakthrough ideas. This is exactly what today's organizations need. If your company is not actively fostering collaboration between disciplines, generations, and perspectives, you're not innovating at full potential. So here are a few key principles I want to leave you with as we think about demographic intelligence and innovation. Number one, leaders must actively seek new talent pools. With fewer young workers entering the labor force, you can't afford to hire from the same old pipelines. You need new pipes. Look beyond traditional academic credentials. Many skilled professionals are coming from trade schools. They have online certifications, and some are even doing self-directed learning. Expand your recruitment geography. Remote work makes it possible to hire outside your immediate region. It's something that we have to consider. Tap into underutilized workforce segments. Women, people of color, veterans, immigrants, and neurodiverse workers bring valuable skills, but they are often underlooked. But make sure that you hire people that have the skills that you need, people that are qualified to do the job. But here's an example. NASA's Apollo program succeeded because it leveraged every available talent source, not just the usual suspects. Number two, inclusion is not just about representation. It's about impact. Having a diverse team on paper doesn't mean you're benefiting from their insights. True inclusion means diverse perspectives, helping you to shape key decisions. So ask yourself, are underrepresented voices in leadership roles? Do different perspectives actually impact company strategy? Are you fostering a culture of psychological safety like Google's Project Aristotle? Number three, cross-disciplinary collaboration drives competitive advantage. The best ideas come from unexpected intersections. A few key strategies. Encourage cross-functional teams. Finance, marketing, and engineering should collaborate, not work in silos. Create opportunities for knowledge sharing across generations and disciplines. Foster mentorship programs that connect experienced employees with younger workers to bridge knowledge gaps. Okay, it's time for our activity. We're going to do a demographic intelligence mapping exercise. Step 1, assess your team's diversity. Look at your team's generational, cultural, and skills diversity. Do you have a mix of experienced and emerging talent? Are multiple cultural perspectives represented in your decision making? Is your hiring too focused on a narrow group of candidates? Step 2, identify where you're missing talent. Are certain roles or leadership levels lacking diversity? And only you can define that. Are you hiring for cultural fit instead of cultural add? Are you creating barriers for non-traditional candidates? Step 3, take one action to improve inclusion and collaboration. Develop one concrete strategy to expand, develop, or retain a more diverse talent pipeline. Here's what you can do for an example. Partner with an alternative education program, such as a coding bootcamp or workforce reentry program. This will help you find non-traditional candidates. In closing, adapt or get left behind. The workforce is shifting. Are you shifting with it? You have to ask yourself, am I leveraging demographic intelligence to future-proof my team, or am I hiring the same way we did 10 years ago? The companies that adapt to demographic shifts will dominate. The ones that don't, well, they'll struggle to find talent in a shrinking labor pool. Diversity isn't a nice to have. It really is a business imperative. Key takeaways from this lesson. The labor market is changing. Leaders must rethink talent acquisition. Demographic intelligence is a competitive advantage, not a compliance exercise. And finally, the companies that prioritize inclusion and innovation will lead the future. Please take some time with the activity. Be diligent, and let's get to work.